received as well in the interim some information from Alicia Johnson with regard to the pictures that she alluded to in her presentation, I believe, as not being retrievable. In response to the question of the bulb wattage, each bulb is 5 watts apparently, and the indication as well that we have is that the lights have now been placed on a dimmer switch on a timer to a dimmer percentile of 10%. Ms. Johnson, is that correct? Thank you. I'm going to allow just a comment on that, and then we have to have a discussion amongst ourselves and make a decision, as essentially the hearing has taken place, so we're at the point now of considering our options. Do you have any comments on the submission?
Sure.
If you could come forward, and speak at the microphone. Thank you. Yes.
So regarding the changes that Alicia made, Ms. Johnson made, the lights are still coming into our property, and what I don't understand is I have seen that she's disabled the front lights, the pot lights, so she's able to disable them. I don't understand why she can't disable them on the east side that's coming into her house. So she may have put them on a timer, but they're still coming into her house, so it's still ongoing. That's all I have to say.
Are there any questions?
Still violating the bylaw.
Just to be clear, what you mean by still coming into your house?
So she's violating the bylaw that's in question, the property standards bylaw. It's directly, the pilots are directly still coming into our house. And I question the wattage. I don't think it's 5 watts that she's stating. I would like to get some evidence in respect to the wattage.
Okay, did I just stay with, so coming into your house, you're referring to the rooms that you mentioned you were using as
Correct, yeah.
bedrooms, and you could see
Correct,
the
yeah.
lights were pointing right into that?
Yeah, the pod lights are still directly beaming into our house. And what I don't understand, last time I believe Ms. Johnson stated that, I believe you had asked her the question, if the lights were permitted to be pivoted, and she said yes, yet they have failed to pivot the lights in any form or way. So like I said, the lights are still coming into our house and violating the bylaw.
Mr. Curlin, the question of wattage, I guess it applies, it depends a little bit on what type of lights are they. If they're LED lights, 5 watts is significant compared with incandescent. Do we know what kind of lights they are?
Maybe we should ask Ms. Johnson at the appropriate moment. I just have one or two questions for you as well.
Yes.
Have you witnessed, I'm going to ask Ms. Johnson the same question, has there been any change in the usage of the lights from the standpoint of the timing, the time they're shut down? Has there been anything other than what brings you here today?
Sure.
Has there been any changes?
So the day of the hearing, actually, I noticed they increased the light, and I think I sent it to Mr. Earlman, I forgot his name. Mr. Early, yes. And then I had sent him the email, and now the lights are coming on approximately 8 o'clock till about 9:30-ish. But again, they're still beaming into our house and violating the bylaw in question, and I think that's still unfair, and it's still a nuisance to us.
Okay. Anything further? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson, if you could come forward, and the committee may have some questions for you. I just have one or two. The 5-watt bulbs, are they a new addition, or are they the same bulbs that you've had since you? Okay, so there's been no change in the bulbs. Okay. And are you dimming the lights at all? Are you? Okay, so that's basically the same level that they were on.
That is correct.
So there's been no change in your approach in in terms of?
Most definitely not. Understanding that this meeting was impending, we took this very seriously.
Okay.
And we have taken necessary corrective preemptive measures post-meeting.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Johnson? Would you happen to know whether they're LEDs or?
They are in fact LEDs, yes.
Okay, so they're LEDs.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Nix, sorry, I caught you in mid-conversation there. Do you have any questions?
I was trying to find the right
Okay.
section of the bylaw, and I'm still. No, I didn't have questions.
Okay. Well, it's not a ping pong match. Okay. I think we've had submissions at the end of the last day. We had some follow-up information. I think the committee's satisfied with the information it's received. It's heard your contrary information, and now we have a decision to make. Thank you very much, Ms. Carr. Or Ms. Johnson, I should say, sorry. I have another name on my mind. Okay. We've had a complaint pursuant to the bylaw, and open it up for discussion as to how we address this.
I would just go recheck the wording, and since with all due respect, I have the property standards bylaw here. I go to section 36 and 37, and it's not the section you pointed me to. So I wanted to check the exact wording, and I can't find it.
Can you just confirm if you've got the latest version? Remember, that was added as an amendment a number of years later, after the
Oh, it's at
original
the bottom.
bylaw?
But you said section 36 and 37, which is... Okay, that's why I apologize for being so... Where? Where is it? He said 36 and 37.
Or at the beginning.
If you've got the
went to the-
consolidated version in front of you, it was put into the appropriate spot, but if you're not looking at the consolidated version, unfortunately, you don't.
It's the version on the town's website. So how do I
So it,
find- No, I had it two weeks ago, and I misplaced it on my laptop, and I was trying to get it. Where's the consolidated? Okay, I can't find it.
can you,
I'm on the town of Mo's website.
okay, can
These
you
are the bylaws.
also what,
I went down to property standards bylaw, and apparently it's not the consolidated version.
If you want to get a document, sure.
Fred?
Yeah. Would you like, do you want me to print you off a hard copy? Do you want to
Just show me on the website which one I should be looking at, because the one I'm looking at does not contain the words.
2011-45.
so if you go bylaw,
2011-45.
That's what I was going to do.
Bylaw consolidated.
shall be installed and maintained in all areas outside every building or structure in compliance with the requirements of the building code, including providing the required illumination levels, and shall utilize fully shielded design or cut-off devices to reduce or limit light trespass from the property. 37 reads, exterior lighting fixtures shall be installed and maintained so as to prevent the light source from shining directly into a neighboring dwelling unit or increasing the light intensity on any adjacent road so as to create an unsafe condition. Thank you.
So did you want questions, or did you want our?
Discussion.
Well, I'll lead off by saying whether it's fair or unfair, it's pretty clear what the standard says. And from the pictures I've seen, is that there's a violation of the standard.
Any further thoughts?
I'm in agreement that, with the report that the bylaw enforcement did provide us. I think it is clear that there is trespass.
I'd like to have my memory refreshed as to what the bylaw officer said about the lighting coming into the rooms in question.
So it reads that exterior lighting fixtures shall be installed and maintained so as to prevent the light source from shining directly into a neighboring dwelling unit or increasing the light intensity on any adjacent road so as to create an unsafe condition.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't make myself clear. I believe that the bylaw enforcement officer witnessed the lighting in question, and I'd like to hear that report.
Okay.
Yeah, my memory doesn't remember exactly what was said, because I think this is very germane to the decisions about whether it offends the bylaw.
I don't have that report in front of me. I think we need to see it. I should explain why Eugene Lemmering didn't give evidence in the course of the hearing. It wasn't that we were neglecting you, sir. You weren't called as a witness. So by either party. So your written report stands as your evidence to the committee. So if you're wondering why we never heard from you directly. Okay, thank you. Can we get a copy of Mr. Lemmering's report? And maybe just to have Councillor Mankalo read it directly. Yeah. Thank you.
This is a activities report dated April the 15th, 2019. It's by Mr. Eugene Lamerding, our bylaw enforcement officer, and he states it states August the 2nd to 16th, 2018. Amongst other matters, there was further discussions with the complainant about the light trespass issue, and I arranged to attend the complainant's property at about 10 p.m. August 16th, at which time I identified myself and she invited me in. I observed bedrooms are located on both upper and lower floors of the complainant's house on the west side facing 30 Meek. Rooms with the curtains drawn open, and he provides photographs. I think that's the information I wanted. If anybody wants me to read it anymore, yeah.
Yes, I agree. It seems pretty clear that we have a problem here.
So I think the committee has made a determination that there is a breach of the property standards bylaw. The issue is what is the wish of the committee from the standpoint of bringing this into compliance. There are a number of options, I think, available.
perhaps we should suggest that the owner respond to what she would like to do to correct this.
Any further comments? Ms. Johnson, if you could approach the microphone again. Thank you. I think you've heard the committee.
Yep.
And there's definitely a problem here. I think, admittedly, there's a problem here. And in your summation, you were suggesting possibly that your neighbor even moved to another part of the house, which is something that is not going to solve the issue. I hope you were jesting when you made that suggestion. But we, maybe before we make a hard and fast decision that could have consequences in the event that you were to breach it, you could either tell us now or ask for time to consider what your response would be. I'll give you a few suggestions that come to my mind. Pivoting the lights is an example. That's one possibility. Shielding the lights, I think, is another possibility so that the light does not trespass. Maybe some hard and fast rules with regard to the further dimming or the timing of the use of the lights. All of those are options. I'm not saying or prejudging what the committee, how they will respond, but I think it is fair to give you an opportunity to consider your options and before we actually make a final determination that will have consequences for you.
Understandably so. I think that based on the remedial activities that we have taken place thus far, that being the inclusion of the dimmer, I think the committee, given today's facts, I guess in hindsight, I wish I was aware of the dimmability aspect and had proceeded with that in advance of our former meeting, because the decision that's being rendered here today is in fact based on past evidence. I think that perhaps if it's prudent, I would suggest that we send out the inspector again and have him to take additional photos to see if the 10 percentile dimmability has in fact created some sort of relief here. That's one suggestion that I would make.
I'm open to that. I agree. I'm based on my decision on past evidence. I have no idea what the effect these things are, and if it's not something proven or shown, then the fact that stops light directly into the neighbor's house, I think that's fine, but I'd like to see that evidence.
I have a slightly different view. I think that if it's coming into the house, even if you dim it, it's still going to be coming into the house. And it has to be turned or shielded in order to make it satisfactory for the neighbor.
I'm all in favor of our inspector reattending to see what has been done and what further could be done. I think you seriously need to consider the shielding option as well as the pivoting of the lights. Maybe a combination of the two things might be appropriate, but I do think that before we make a decision, we should have Eugene reattend the property and see what it's like now, or see what it's like after you do further remediation on the lighting. I'm going to suggest a fairly short time frame because this has been going on for some time, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know how the rest of the committee would feel about that, but that would give you some time if you have to install any further shielding, or if you have to get up on ladders and pivot the lights. That would give you some time to do that. We in agreement? Okay. So we'll adjourn the committee for a further 2 weeks to permit you to take those steps and to await the report of the bylaw inspector. And then reconvene the committee to either make further decisions or to consider the matter closed.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, are we going to set a specific date and time at this?
Yeah. Well, 2 weeks puts us to a nighttime meeting,
Puts us
doesn't
into an evening meeting,
it?
yes.
Yes.
Maybe we should ask them, is there a problem attending an evening meeting? Is there a problem with getting here in an evening meeting in 2 weeks?
May I speak? So, two things. I have to see the schedule. I have no problem with you doing kind of over at a later time. The only thing is, I like to make a point. The light is, the sun, it's kind of really light out now at later on in the evening, so we'd have to test it when it's darker. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that I asked, to be fair, because what's gonna happen is, the lights are gonna be on during a certain period of time, and when it gets darker, when the weather changes, I don't wanna have to go, we've been separated over here. It's not fair. I have pictures to prove it.
I think it's clearly understood that this is going to be an inspection at, when it's dark out, not when it's twilight. If there's no issue with attendance of a nighttime meeting, and maybe we can deal with it up front rather than making you wait for the balance of council to complete its work.
Should we set a time?
Why don't we say, no, I think we're setting a time for the meeting.
So would we want to say 6 o'clock on the 11th?
How about 6:30? I think 6:30?
For the meeting?
No, for the meeting. Yeah.
Anytime,
Yeah.
anytime you guys need to.
Why don't we say 6:30?
So 6:30 on the 11th of June.
Correct.
And who's gonna be arranging the, sorry.
I think it would be fair that, he's here now, maybe
Yeah.
he can use the schedule.
Would it be okay if I email to him, because I have to check my schedule, if that's okay? Would that be fair, or do you need an answer right now?
You can work it out with
Is that fair?
Eugene.
Give me 24 hours?
Okay.
That's fine. And I do have pictures,
Okay.
of what the lights could be scheduled at the front.
We're fine for the moment, and we need to give Ms. Johnson an opportunity to respond.
So I'm sorry, just to back up one step. So was there, or do you want a resolution indicating the actions that will be taken and when the meeting will reconvene, or just by direction and then closing this meeting?
Yeah, I think we should have a resolution that we came to the determination that there was a breach of the property standards bylaw, and that we're giving Ms. Johnson and her family an opportunity to take certain steps to address the issues as identified.
And that the bylaw enforcement officer will make another visit and report those findings at the June 11th meeting?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
I think that works.
Okay, so we have that resolution on the floor, I
Yes.
take it?
Do we have a mover? No, it's no longer my meeting.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. So, no. No, so that was, yeah, so that was property standards was 10, 11 was decision, 12 was.
2001 as amended at 1:30 PM for advice that is subject to